Radhe Radhe everyone. Today we are going to watch a video about the necessity of a guru. By Braj Banchari Didiji from Sri Kripalu Kunj Ashram, Canada. My humble pranams to my Divine Master's Divine Lotus feet for giving the world the precious treasure of knowledge about the importance of a guru in our life. Due to his compassionate, merciful nature, my Divine Master has given not only the divine knowledge but the beautiful, precious treasure beautiful forms of God, Sitaram and Radhesham for this world to meditate upon. Whatever he has given this world is like an ocean. His knowledge, the meditation halls he built for all of us to meditate on God. The meditation halls all looks like an ocean. The temples, kirtans, whatever he has given this world is an ocean. Let's all practice to dive into this spiritual ocean. Oh Hari, you are the one who has given me everything of true value. I cannot repay my debts to you even in countless lives. Out of your costless mercy, you granted me a human body. You showed me how I could be uplifted by revealing the path to attain you in the Vedas. Countless devotees, the saints, were sent to this world by you. Again and again they gave me spiritual guidance. All glories to you, my spiritual master. Guru rectifies. We have attained all forms of life, including celestial forms and human form, innumerable times. We have also seen God face to face uncountable times. Being all pervading, God is also seated in our heart. However, we are unable to derive any benefit from His secret presence. Rather, we have been victims of anger, passion, greed, and lust. We have been roaming around in 8.4 million life forms. We have been hung upside down in the mother's womb for 9 months, uncountable number of times. Imagine the pain the tender body of a helpless child undergoes when millions of tiny germs keep biting it. We have endured all this and much more. But by God's grace, we have no recollection of the miseries of our past lives. That's how we are able to remain alive and be happy. God is sitting within us and takes a note of each and every thought that crosses our mind. Yet He is unable to help us in that secret form. He continues to watch Maya torment us, but He is unable to stop her. This is not to suggest that God does not help us. On the contrary, God has been helping us immensely right from when we came in the mother's womb. He created a mechanism by which we got nutrition from what the mother ate. As soon as we were born, He created milk in the mother's breast, as we had no teeth to chew anything. When we grew up a little and mother's milk was not sufficient to provide us complete nutrition, He gave us teeth so we could eat. However, He does not bestow His real grace upon us that will realize us from the clutches of Maya. That will release us from the clutches of Maya. He does not even let us know about His presence within us. This is where a guru comes in. He makes us aware of the presence of God within our heart. He tells us about our eternal relationship with God. He reveals the secret that God's grace can only be attained by accepting Him and Him alone as our very own. He also reveals the practical form of practicing devotion, and once our devotion is complete and our mind is completely purified, infuses divine power into our mind to make it divine. After all, the stage is set, God appears in front of the individual soul. As it is His, the stage is set, God appears in front of the individual soul. As it is His work that He reveals Himself only to the pure-hearted. God does exactly what the world does, that is, accept the good ones and banish the destitute. Guru, on the other hand, delivers the downtrodden and neglected souls millions of obeisances to my Guru Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. The Necessity of a Guru by Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, and it's translated by Braj Banchari Didi Ji from Sri Kripalu Kunj Ashram, Canada. All scriptures and saints unanimously declare that every seeker of God has to accept the guardianship of a spiritual master. It is also our experience that children need a teacher even for learning the alphabets of their mother tongue. So it is proven beyond doubt that to attain spiritual knowledge, an obscure subject for worldly beings, one would require a qualified spiritual teacher. The Sanskrit word for an authentic spiritual master is Guru. The Vedas say the words to note in this verse are Tadvidgyanartham, means to know God. Guru Meva, number 2, Guru Meva Bhikchat, means one must submit oneself to a Guru only and to none other. 3. Shostriyam means he should have complete knowledge of all scriptures and should possess the ability to imbibe that knowledge in others. And 4. Brahmanishta means a God realized saint. This verse from Vedas say only the one who is Kshotriya and Brahmanishta can be called a guru. In other words, the one who is well conversant with the scriptures and can eloquently describe them but does not know God cannot be considered a guru. All the scriptures and saints describe the necessity of a guru to realize God. Tulsidas ji says even those as competent as the creator Brahma and Lord Shankar cannot traverse the ocean of the material world without a guru. So what is that only a guru can do and no one else? There are two main functions which a guru alone can do. 1. Eliminate ignorance. 2. Instill knowledge. Both of these statements appears to be the same. Then why are they described as two different activities? It is to be noted that not a single alphabet in our scriptures is without a reason. Hence, both statements are different, correct and required. God is eternal and is the ocean of bliss. Every soul is an eternal part of God and innately desires happiness, but due to ignorance, it considered itself to be the body and the worldly objects to be the source of happiness. Each one of us has been given a material mind and intellect. This material mind continuously searches for happiness in this world. It expects to receive unlimited happiness from physical relatives and friends. The friends and family also expect the same from us. However, since neither party has bliss, it cannot grant the bliss to the other. Yet, due to ignorance, each party anticipates to receive bliss from the other and feels disappointed when that is not achieved. This further gives rise to anger, grief, arguments, etc. We all experience this several times a day. With the same goal of receiving unlimited happiness, we employ numerous means to acquire material objects and work really hard to attain them. Attainment of these objects gives rise to greed, and non-attainment gives rise to anger. Either way, the desire to attain material objects ends up causing pain and suffering. Thus, all this pain and suffering happens when we forget that the real I is the soul. We, having forgotten the real I, we also forgot that only God is our eternal, inseparable, and only relative. Thereafter, instead of enjoying unlimited divine bliss of our real Father God, we are continuing to suffer in this world since eternity. There is a verse that we sing in all Hindu temple. You alone are my mother, you alone are my father, you alone are my relative, and you alone are my friend. You alone are my knowledge. You alone are my wealth. You alone are my everything. This verse is a reminder that, oh God, I belong to you and you alone. Every material being has practiced in countless past lifetimes that I am the body. This ignorance is very deep rooted. The Guru helps us understand and realize the true meaning of this verse to root out our ignorance and release us from the sufferings of this world. The Guru also makes us understand the true and only desire behind every action, which is attaining eternal happiness. He brings to light the consequences of searching for happiness in this material world. These insights helps us reflect on who am I? What do I really want? Thus, leading us to rejecting temporary material pleasures in favor of the quest for unlimited everlasting happiness. Take a step back and think, can the one who is himself pursuing happiness in this world be able to provide us such insights? The reasons of our sufferings are documented in our scriptures. Contemplate unless a person is Shostriyam saint, well conversant with the true knowledge of the scriptures. Will he able to impart such a deep and authentic knowledge? So the first duty of a guru is to dispel ignorance and convince a soul that this world has no happiness. Guru clears out the illusion of happiness in this world. Thereafter, he has to do one more thing. One cannot attain happiness merely by knowing the fact that there is no happiness in the world. Subsequently, one would need to know the real whereabouts of real happiness. Suppose a thirsty deer is running hither and thither in a desert in search of water, but being in a desert he does not find water. If someone advises the deer that you can't find water in a desert, the deer may stop running, but ponder, would it quench his thirst? No. Now he would ask, where is water? Then he would need direction to reach the source of water to quench his thirst. Merely knowing the direction would not quench his thirst. The deer has to follow the directions, reach the source of water and drink it. Only then will it quench its thirst. In the same way, mere knowledge of the nature of the world would not satiate our desire to attain happiness. It might detach us from the world. After that, we also need to know how we would attain happiness. We need a Brahmanishta Mahapurush saint for that. Only a Brahmanishta saint has the capability to guide us properly. Everyone has performed uncountable karma in the uncountable past lifetimes. Those karma leave innumerable impressions on one's mind. Those are called sanskars. When someone starts traversing the path of spirituality, due to those sanskars, may doubts arise in the minds of the aspirants. Only if the Guru has practically solved these problems and has realized God can he successfully navigate an aspirant out of those problems. An inexperienced guru would either lead us astray or leave us to wander on our own to find solutions to the difficulties that we experience on the path. This is the reason, after removing ignorance, the guru also has to impart the knowledge about the ultimate, number one, the ultimate goal of life, number two, true happiness, number three, the path to attainment of true happiness, 4, fastest way to accomplish our goal, 5, milestones on the path of progress, and indicators when digressing. Besides these, while treading on the path of God realization, an aspirant has to learn numerous other essential to know concepts. A teacher introduces more advanced concepts as a child moves from a lower grade to a higher grade. Similarly, a Shostriya and Brahmanishta saint provides the right knowledge and direction at the right time to the aspirant as he continues to move upwards on his spiritual journey. Sometimes bad sanskars from previous lifetimes create impediments in the path of progress of an aspirant. The Guru helps preserve the spiritual status of his disciple by fighting with his bad sanskars and reducing their adverse impact. There are numerous other things that a guru does for his disciple but never discloses it. It is against the divine laws to disclose what the guru does for his surrendered devotees. It is impossible to write all about what a guru does for his disciple, but just a glimpse of what a guru does makes it clear that only a God realized soul can accomplish these jobs. That is why one has to accept being a disciple of Shotriya and Brahmanishta saint. In the present age, there are a lot of con men who have made religion a business and who mislead innocent people in the name of religion. Beware of them. Learn to ascertain if one is a saint or an impostor. If you haven't met a true guru, cry out to God to send a true saint your way. And when you finally meet your true guru, follow his instructions without a shadow of doubt. Let's see about the importance of the saint in our life. A person happened to see three people in a prison. He asked the first why he was there, and the man replied, "Don't you know that the prison is a place where criminals are sent to suffer the appropriate punishment for their crimes? I am a criminal too." When the visitor heard this, he presumed that the other two people also belonged to the same category. But his presumption turned out to be totally wrong when he was told that the second person was the warden and the third was the ruler of the country. A warden is employed to look after the welfare and reformation of prisoners, and a ruler too performs the same work. However, a ruler visits the prison only in cases of emergency, whereas the warden is always there. The warden who always remain in the jail can be compared to the descended saints who have attained eternal fulfillment. They stay in the prison of the world to help others attain God. In spite of being abused by the prisoners, the materially bound souls, the ruler can be compared to God, who also descends to this world in different ages when circumstances are grave and requires his direct intervention. These three types of personalities are seen in the prison of this world, and though there is external similarity in their actions, there is a vast difference in their internal motives. One is a prisoner bound by shackles of Maya, one is the liberated saint who is the servant of God, and one is the governor of Maya, God Himself. The saint does nothing. It is God who performs actions through him by his personal power called Yogamaya. Similarly, God personally performs actions in his descension through the same power. These actions appear worldly, but their real nature is divine. I just want to share about my divine masters. The president of Kashi Vidyut Parikshit declared Sri Kripalaji Maharaj's discourses are like the roaring of new rain clouds. They pacify the minds tortured by disbelief in God. Listening to his lectures gives birth to seedlings of divine knowledge in the mind. For those suffering with illusion, misconception, and negative sentiments, Sri Kripalaj Maharaj is like a portion of ambrosia. All glories to him forever. Second, till date all Jagadgurus were well conversant with and preached divine knowledge only. None of them preached the element of devotion. Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, Sri Jagadguru, Sri Kripaluji Maharaj is the first Jagadguru who is seated on the highest seat of knowledge and is also the supreme teacher of the nectar of devotion. While conducting Kirtan, he himself drowns in the ocean of divine love bliss. He also imparts the knowledge of delving into that rapture to aspiring devotees and as far as possible helps them to taste that nectar. That is why Kashi Vidyut Parikshit crowned him with the divine title of Bhakti Yoga Rasavadhar, one who is a personification of Bhakti Yoga and nectar of divine love. On one hand, glories of his divine knowledge are spreading far and wide, and on the other hand, Sri Kripalaji Maharaj is disseminating the innermost secrets of Madhurya Bhav, form of Raganuga Bhakti. He is exalting the most selfless form of services to Krishna for his pleasure only in the minds of the devotees. You all can read more about my Divine Master. You can browse JKP literature online. Then you can read enormous things about my Divine Master and you can purchase his books as well. Let's all learn to dive in his spiritual ocean, books of spiritual ocean. Yeah. So now we watched about the importance of the Guru. So let's all strive to practice to watch his lectures through our YouTube channels, JKP YouTube channels, and Kripalunidhi app, Sanatan Vedic Dharma app as well. You can download and you can share with your friends and relatives, and you can study my Divine Master's books to know the philosophy. Yeah. Let's all unite our mind with the divine personality and learn to get rid of this material sufferings. Each and everyone, every day, we are facing problems through our relatives, friends, family members, in office, in business, at home, sickness, worries, mental stress will make us crazy. We no need to become crazy. Just practice to unite our mind with the divine personality, my divine master, divine teachings. Whenever you all feel highly depressed, just calm down and sit in a calm place and try to visualize my divine master's divine form and cry to him in whichever situation you are in. Just cry to him. He is so merciful. Follow his instructions. Practice in your daily life. Whenever you have free time, try to learn, try to practice to chant Radhe Naam. You can visualize my divine master's divine forms in your mind and Sri Radha Krishna as well along with my divine master. You all can first meditate on the form of God and Guru and chant Radhe Radhe or Radhe Sham according to your wish. See, then read my divine master's divine teachings. Let's all practice and get rid of these material sufferings and to walk in the path of bhakti with lot of love and happiness. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.